Porterhouse. There's steak, and then there's steak, and then there's the king of steaks. That's the Porterhouse. Now, this costs a little bit, and it can be tricky to cook, but Christy is going to show us how to get it right on the first try.
We're going to make great steaks today, but you have to keep in mind that these are expensive steaks.
Heck yeah.
Each one of these is going to run you about $50. So I want to make sure they're done right.
There you go.
What we have here are actually two steaks on one bone. We've got the nice, lean tenderloin on the one side and the more marbled strip steak on the other side. And these two steaks don't cook the same way.
No, they don't.
So that was our challenge, was to find a way to make them cook perfectly with a rosy interior and a crusty exterior on the grill in the same amount of time. Well, we're starting with 2.5 to 3 pound Porterhouse steaks. And you'll notice they're about 2 inches thick. And
Yes.
that thickness is really important to making sure that they cook evenly.
Okay.
Now, we always talk about how fat equals flavor, but too much fat can cause flame-ups on the grill. These look great. You only want to have about 1/4 inch of fat along the outside.
Okay.
So I'm going to start out by just patting these dry. Now, we're going to season these, and I'm using kosher salt. It's easier to see and distribute evenly. A teaspoon of salt on each side of each steak. So these look good.
Yes, you do.
I'm going to transfer these to a pretty large plate, and we'll let these chill in the fridge anywhere from an hour to 24 hours. Bridget, I got the grill heated up while we were waiting.
Okay.
I started by opening the vents all the way on the bottom, and then I lit a full chimney of charcoal briquettes. That's 6 quarts.
Okay.
I knew that the briquettes were hot enough when they were partially covered with ash on the top. And then I poured them into an even layer on half of the grill. Then I put my grate on, covered it, opened the vents, and I just let it heat for about 5 minutes.
Okay.
Now I want to get the grill oiled, so dip some paper towels in a little oil. So before we put them on the grill, I'm going to pat them dry because they won't start to brown until they're dry.
And where we salted them inside and let them sit with the salt on, that salt pulls up a little bit of that moisture to the surface, so you're just really getting rid of that.
Right. So I'm going to add about 1/2 teaspoon of pepper to both sides of each steak.
Okay.
In order to get the really great sear, we needed to use really intense heat. The problem is we have 2 very different steaks connected by the same bone. Place them directly over the heat.
So they are over those coals.
They're directly over the coals, but this is a tenderloin, and this is facing the cool side. Strip steak could handle the heat, but the tenderloin is so lean.
You've got the strip steaks facing the hotter side of the grill, but that leaner filet, it's facing the cooler side. And what are we going to be facing? How long are we waiting here?
6 to 8 minutes. With the lid off, we're just going to look for a really nice brown sear on the bottom.
Oh, I'm going to be looking. Smells amazing
It
out
does.
here.
And I took a little peek.
Okay.
And I think we're ready to flip.
All right.
We need to flip these so that the tenderloin is still oriented the same way. So I'm kind of going to go tip to tail rather than side to side.
All right.
If you get any flare-ups, you just move your steak over to the other side of the grill for a minute or so until it subsides. Don't spray water on it. Look at that crust.
Those are things of beauty. So how long are we going to have to wait on the second side?
Just another 6 to 8 minutes.
All right, I can do that.
You can.
Are they done yet? Are we there yet? Are they done yet?
If I have to come over there. So I'm just going to flip these because you can see that we've got a really nice crust on both sides.
Beautiful.
So now I'm going to move them over to the cool side because we want to cook them the rest of the way over indirect heat.
All right. And I like the way that you face the bone towards the hotter side.
Yes, it's acting like a heat shield, kind of. And that's just going to help deflect a little bit of the heat so that the steaks can cook gently over on this side. So now I'm going to leave the lid on for this last phase. We're going to let this go 4 to 6 minutes, flip the steaks, and then another 4 to 6 minutes.
Gives me plenty of time to go sharpen those steak knives.
You've been so patient, Bridget. But I think it's time to check. They look great.
Yes,
They look great. And we can't just temp them anywhere. We found the best, most reliable place to check it was about 3 inches from the tip of the strip steak. I'm looking for a temp between 115 and 120.
117?
117?
Yeah.
Now that temperature might seem a little low, but the thing is that these are big steaks and they're going to continue to cook once we take them off the heat. After about 10 minutes of resting, they're going to hit 125, perfect medium rare.
And we're going to be feasting here in how many minutes?
10 minutes.
All right, 10 minutes.
So I'm just going to cover them, tent them lightly with foil, keep them warm in that time.
Yes, yes. Longest 10 minutes of my life, I have to say.
Well, you're about to be rewarded. These look so good.
I mean, come on. Look at this. Before she talks on that is an insanely gorgeous steak.
And we're going to serve it so that it looks kind of like this.
Okay.
But first we have to take the meat off the bone.
Yes, we do.
So I'm just using a boning knife here so I can carve right near the bone.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you have to kind of wiggle around to find the shape of it.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. It's the same color from the center to the exterior.
That was the strip, so now I'll just carve the tenderloin off the other side. So I'm going to leave my bone.
Okay.
Keep that. And we'll go about slicing the beef. I just want to cut this pretty thin. Oh my goodness.
Like butter. It's slicing like butter.
I know. I'm just going to kind of tuck the meat back in along the bone.
That's stunning.
And now we'll carve the tenderloin.
Cannot forget that guy. But look at the color of the tenderloin as well. They both hit medium rare.
They both look like butter. Now, we could eat this right now.
Oh, yes, we could.
I mean, we are going to eat it right now, but a little melted butter. So I'm adding a 1/4 teaspoon of kosher salt to the butter.
Heck
Just
yeah.
drizzle this all over. And now we just want to season it a little bit.
All right.
There's a lot of meat here. Kosher salt, a little pepper. Okay. Can you hand me a plate?
Oh, yes, I will gladly work that way.
So here is the strip.
And tenderloin.
And there is your very, very tender tenderloin.
Beautiful. Absolutely gorgeous. The same color.
Same color from edge to edge. Beautiful.
Juicy is not even close to what these slices of steak are. I mean, and it tastes super beefy, but that salting method that you used really enhanced the flavor.
Right.
You know, I love that method of keeping the tenderloin away from the fire, kind of shielding it a little bit. It's not overcooked at all. Christy, a steak is medium rare, but well done to you. Absolutely perfect. Well, you dropped some serious coin on these steaks, the good old Porterhouse, so it pays to know how to grill them the right way. Season 2-inch thick steaks with kosher salt and refrigerate. Grill the steaks directly over the fire with the tenderloin facing the cooler side of the grill until charred on both sides. Finish the steaks over the cooler side, keeping the bone facing the hotter side, and let it rest. Then carve, slice, and rearrange the meat around the center bone. Finally, drizzle with seasoned melted butter. These are worth every penny. So from Cook's Country and the Meat Eaters Club, the best thick-cut Porterhouse steaks that you can ever make.